Andy McDermott is looking for a little danger.
Andy, what you doing?
I'll show you guys a stunt you'll never top.
But tonight,
Andy, this is madness. You're gonna get yourself killed.
there's nothing more dangerous than falling for the wrong girl.
No, don't.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Alan McKenna, who, this was his first big movie. He had one line in it. He said, "Qua," but he was a werewolf, which is pretty neat. And his story, if you haven't listened to the interview yet, make sure you check it out after this week's review. You'll be able to hear Alan's weird journey to acting. He had no interest in it till a girl from Australia in a pub that he went to after playing soccer. She said, "Hey, I want to do a play," because that was like a thing over there in bigger pubs, I guess, but not in like the divey ones. And she said, "You should be the star." And he's like, "Really?" Made him the star. He didn't want to do it. They ended up doing there were so many tickets sold. They did 2 shows. Then he fell in love with it. Great stories from his career. And it's cool to hear the differences in London sets versus U.S. sets. He worked on a few U.S. sets, so that was pretty cool. And he wrote a movie called Pressure, starred in it, and got Danny Houston to be in it. So, yeah, great chat. So be sure to check it out. But, man, we are finishing our Scary Sequel month, our 6th annual. And we're ending it with An American Werewolf in Paris. That is a movie that probably, when it comes to our podcast, if you're a frequent listener, we talk to a lot of special effects people, and so many people are touched by that original movie in London, just the werewolf transformations. So we'll talk about all of that. And Julie Bowen, the dinner scene with Julie Bowen. I can't wait to talk about that. But before I say anything more, I'm going to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm great, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. So actually, I should have taken it out. I'm not going to do it now because the VH wall behind me will fall out. I know it's like in the middle. I have the VHS tape of this movie, and I remember this movie, seeing it when I was a kid, and I think I remember it because it was like that era of like the music was the movie. Like there was that weird horror era, or even some action films too. It was a lot of horror movies. It was like so loud, the music, and it was like all like kind of hit songs from the time. Do you remember this when this came out?
I remember when it came out. I never saw it. I never saw the first one. So I did something I normally don't do on this podcast is I went back and watched the original before I watched this one. And just because it's a cult movie, everybody talks about it. Usually, I try to go in blind, not even knowing what the movie's about and just seeing the sequel. But I wanted to see the original one, and I'm glad I did. Now, my question before I even go any further is, so I know you've seen this before, and you saw this when you were younger, and now you're seeing it again. Has your view changed on the movie from when you first saw it to now?
A little bit. Yeah, no, probably a lot. The special effects is the one thing we talked about so many times when it comes to that Wild West of CGI, like when it first broke through in like truly in like the early 90s, mid 90s, and you saw some that held up and some not. Some of the transformations didn't look good. The werewolves didn't look good at times, but there were sometimes that really worked the CGI, like Julie Bowen's eye. The way it made it almost like it was popping out when she was covering her mouth. Like that looked really good. So there was some good and bad when it comes to that
scene that I liked. Outside of that, this movie's awful, and part of it is because I did see the original, maybe like 2 weeks before I saw this. And the special effects for 16 years before were great. I mean, it's got to be known as one of the best werewolf transformations ever in a movie, right? I mean, it's really cool. So to go from that, and then 16 years later, they're using CGI, which looks terrible. Like it lost a lot, from what. So like that's one thing I did not like. 2, he's barely a werewolf in this movie. Like there's way too much corny. The whole first half hour of this movie is so corny. Like,
oh my God,
it was like almost beyond corny. Like I know that. Well, first of all, it's not a horror movie. You know, I mean, he's a couple blood scenes, but nothing scary. Nothing jumps out. And it's like it's almost like it's a comedy with horror aspects. Where I think the first one was more of a horror with comedy. This is more. I don't want to say comedy because I didn't think it was funny, but they're trying to have a comedy and then horror.
They were trying to capture the essence of the original, which is really hard. Some things I did like that they did some of the same things, like because you had to that there had to be some connection to the original. Obviously, they could have been like a fully in name only sequel and just be like, oh, there's a werewolf, we're in a different city. But there was some scenes that were really funny and just weird. But it was just the whole point of the movie makes no sense. The fact that they're like 3 daredevils, and it seems like Andy doesn't want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, these are the 3 dweebiest guys possible who are going on a European, vacation to see who can get the most girls. The 3 of them look like they've never had girls ever. That's first of all.
Well, right? No, it's not just girls. Remember, those are sex points, but they have daredevil points. Sex points are bonus points.
Okay. They look like they were never with women, and they just look like the dorky guys. I mean, Andy's like the biggest dorky guy possible. And the fact that like he's not into, really, I mean, first of all, that it should have been a dead giveaway. You got these 3 guys, they're probably college guys, they're probably frat brothers. They're drinking wine on the train. And they're drinking wine later on from the bottle. Now, this is in the 90s. I went to college in the 90s. If I ever showed up to a party drinking wine, I'd be thrown out in like 2 seconds. So the timing of this movie, the fact that they're drinking wine doesn't fit. It shows you that personality. Like they're just, dorky guys. Andy doesn't want to do the sex points, yet he's got a wallet filled with condoms.
Well, no, he didn't have them. The other guy gave him the condoms,
but he held on to them. He had they all fell out of the table.
Yeah, that was weird that he brought that on the date. That there were so many aspects of it. Yeah.
Okay, and here's one of my biggest questions. So we find out who her father is, right?
Oh yeah, that was good. That scene was pretty cool to start the movie. That was pretty twisted.
But how is that? How he died at the end of the movie?
Yeah, why can't that be your father in the opening scene?
Wait, that wasn't her father. I thought they were saying the father from the first movie. The guy was her father.
Oh no, David Naughton.
No, the guy in the opening scene was the guy that's in the gurney later on, right?
Yeah,
that's her stepfather.
That's stepdad.
Right, stepdad. I thought she said her father was the guy from the first movie.
Oh my God! Revealed. Did you? I missed that then.
I think,
her mom is the nurse.
Well, that's
from the original movie.
Then maybe I'm wrong. I thought the main bad guy. What's his name? What's the bad guy's name?
Claude.
French name.
Was it Claude?
When he had the meeting with her, wasn't he talking to her or talking to him about who her father was? And I could have sworn.
God, that'd be good. That'd be like a Meatballs 3, like one-off line. Oh, this is the connection to the original. That'd be good.
But he died. He didn't have any kids.
They could have had sex.
At the end of the movie.
But they had sex. He had sex with the nurse in that movie.
Didn't she die too?
She didn't die.
Oh, I thought she died too.
She sees him. Yeah, she screams in the alleyway, and then the blue moon plays. She sees him get shot
because she's a nurse in this movie.
Yeah. Well, she's not a nurse. She just has the outfit.
Okay. So it's okay. Well, she might be a nurse, or she likes playing nurse. How about that? So, Egan, when you listen to this, I need to know, is her father the guy from the original movie?
Yeah. Yeah, please do. But the opening scene, this is like a quick title card. We get to it. We get like this scientist who's like running, and then underneath you get the POV under the sewer grates. And then I love you see this cabbie. Like that is, I don't know. What do you do? Like, I'm sure the cabbie didn't want to say anything, but he sees this guy running. He gets out to sort of help the guy. He falls. He sees the guy get pulled in and starting to get eaten. And what does the guy do? He just runs back to his car.
Well, he probably figured, and again, you put yourself in his shoes. He's like, all right, I tried, but I tried. He looks like he's not going to make it. I'm not going to risk myself. And he ran away.
Yeah.
Like, so he did try. I mean, he was like, he saw it, he went over. But I mean, like, think about it. Like, if you see something like that happen and you see someone getting eaten out of a sewer,
I know.
I mean, like, like, what are you like? It's like later on in the movie when they're in a club and people are standing around watching these werewolves just tear people apart. Like, why are you standing there? Get out! Like, like the cops. They're literally were standing there. So, yeah. I mean, I think the guy tried, and I think most people would try, but I think there's a point where you have to give up. Like, they're not going to make it. Or at that point, you have to hope they're not going to make it, because then you look like a real jerk.
Oh yeah, I saw him. That was the guy. He looked at me and then ran back to his car. It was just great that he went back to his car. I'm like, oh my god. And I know we were kind of mentioned like making fun of Andy already. Like, again, Tom Everett Scott, I think he's a really good actor. Like, he's funny. He's great in That Thing You Do, Dead Man on Campus, so many other things over the years. And I just think he was supposed to be way too like goofy. And then when he turned into the werewolf, he kind of was like Teen Wolfish, right? The way he was talking and acting, the way he was like flirting and everything was like.
He also had a different personality at the end of the movie. I mean, he went from being
he's a werewolf now. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but no. As a human, I mean, I'm talking about as a human. He went from.
He wasn't. We barely saw him as a human. Oh, okay. You're saying before he got bit?
No. Well, just even after he got bit, he was still dorky. I mean, because he was still looking for her. He was still like, so he was still dorky. But at the end of the movie, he's fighting, shooting, and totally out of his personality. I don't think that's werewolf stuff. I don't think that was what got it. But they made and I'm not an expert on werewolves, but like the blood aspect and it was very vampirish. Like the way they were acting with blood. Is that a big thing with werewolves?
Yeah, no, that I don't know. And also the whole thing, if you eat the heart.
Yeah,
I don't remember that from any other werewolf movie, but maybe that is in the lore. But yeah, the blood thing was weird. The fact that she stole the heart and she was making it into a smoothie for him.
Oh, so gross. Okay. So you mentioned that the heart thing. Now, is there a class for dead people that get bitten by werewolves to learn all the stuff about werewolves and how to combat? Because somehow his buddy and what's her face from Modern Family, they know that. Yeah, they know that after they got eaten by a werewolf, which is the first time they've ever seen a werewolf, they come back as a ghost and know that they have to find the person that killed them, and this way they can leave.
Yeah,
where
that's
they learn
the rules. Right away, they know the rules. Yeah.
That's okay. So is there a class? Is there a werewolf class when you die that someone's saying, all right, these are the rules?
An orientation, you started a new job. They watch this safety video. They turn on the safety video and it's Screech. Dustin Diamond is like, hey, how are you? I'm Screech.
Dustin Diamond? That's the name you picked?
That's the Paul.
Oh my gosh. All right. But
it's weird that they know specifically. he knew that. Oh, it has to be of who bit him. Hey, you have to find that guy who did it. And then she was funny. She's like, I just need you to die.
Yeah. Well, and not for nothing, I don't even know if he saw that he was a werewolf. I mean, he got attacked. For the most part, all they see is eyes, or even his friend, or even Andy. He down the hall. He says, "Oh, look like some beast or something." They didn't know it was a werewolf. So the fact that they know all these details about werewolves, doesn't make sense at all. And this is the only movie that does that. I mean, I've seen plenty of werewolves in movies. I've never seen that aspect of the werewolf. So this is just, I think, in this universe.
Yeah. But again, it's sort of like the vampire rules. In the vampire rules, it's you kill the head vampire, everyone else who got bitten turns back. It seems like werewolves might borrow from the same thing, because if Andy like dies or a main werewolf dies, the people that it bit can go to afterlife. So I don't know. I've never seen the lingering. Usually it's like, hey, we want to kill that vampire to get my friends or family back to normal that are vampires right now. It's not like, hey, they're roaming dead and annoying
but it's
me.
not just killing them. They have to eat the heart. So they're adding another aspect to it.
Oh, his buddy ate the heart? We saw that?
No. Then what is the heart for? Wait. So killing them just
the heart is
let
to
them go, come back
the
normal
heart
again.
is to make a werewolf not a werewolf anymore.
That's so stupid. Okay.
You have to eat the heart of the werewolf that bit you. But if you die, it's different rules. If you live, it's this rule, yeah.
Can the heart be sitting around for a while? Like if you don't eat it right away, does the spell go away after a while? Or does it have to be fresh?
50% of your limbs back. You get to pick. Oh my God, man.
I think they missed the boat on like doing practical makeup. I think the CGI, like if they used practical makeup, I think it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah, just like on Julie and Brad, like those two characters were practical for the most part, not like her eyeball popping and everything. And then there was one time we got like a POV from behind, like on the ground, and that was an actual like guy in a werewolf suit.
Right.
All the other ones are CG, and I was like, I for some reason I remember it being a little bit of both, but it was like heavy CGI.
But you also don't see a lot of transformations. Like you see like a start, and then you see it like total werewolf. Like in the first one, it was very like I think you saw more transformation in Thriller with Michael Jackson, than you did in this movie. I mean, like really, like it was like a before and an after. Like there really wasn't, or they were under a blanket and you don't see the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's part of the cool part of watching a werewolf movie is seeing them change from human form into werewolf. And I think this movie missed that. Like there was none of that.
Yeah, and it looked bad when they did try it. Like when you saw like Julie Delpy when she was like looking at the camera, like really close up, and you saw like the moving on the skin, the hair coming like that. Yeah, again, it was probably at the time that probably looked really cool, but it just some of that stuff just does not hold up.
And they gave her multiple nipples, if you noticed.
Oh my God,
they gave her. Yeah.
It was weird just watching her boobs like move. So it's like right when we meet Julie Delpy. So the Daredevil boys, they sneak up the Eiffel Tower.
No security.
Which is
like there's no security there. Okay.
At all. And
clearly,
just thinking about how long it takes to get up there, like that was a beautiful view, but like if you want to go up there, that's like there was climbing ladders, different stairs.
But aren't there elevators in Eiffel Tower? I mean, I've never been there. I can't imagine.
Has to be.
Right. So you're telling me like why didn't they use the elevator?
Maybe they power him down at night.
I don't think so.
Maybe that's why the security guards are like, nobody's going to go to the top. Nobody has the stamina. But the Daredevils do, and they sit on a blanket and they're drinking wine.
That was their luggage. Is that's what they took with them on how they traveled?
It seems
just
like
a big rope. Yep. And that didn't even look like a bungee cord. It looked like a rope.
Oh my God, dude!
Right? I mean,
that
like
whole thing, like it seemed like he never did that. Right?
No.
The fact that he's like, guy, hey man, I'm sorry, we're just messing with you on the train. You don't have to do this. It's like, no, I want to do this. And he's getting all set up and he's getting ready to jump off. And he, like, it's not tied. We find out in like a little bit. It's not tied. Like, that's step one, right? Like, you don't attach it to your leg before you tie it to something.
I was going to say, he attached it to his body. What if like a wind blew and blew the other side off and you fly? You like, you definitely make sure it's secure. But considering it happens again later on, clearly, they shouldn't be doing any bungee jumping.
Yeah,
the rope wasn't attached at the end of the movie either.
Oh my God, that was so stupid. Well, like I get at the end of the movie do a callback, but like
no, I know, but that's
insanity.
Yeah.
That's
but
insanity.
I mean, again, he's not a bright guy. I mean, listen, great, he saves Julie Delpy. When we're getting there. I mean,
which is crazy.
But he like falls in love. Like she clearly has problems. Yeah, I mean, like, the multiple times that he sees her and he still wants to get to know her.
I know. And
it-
she's
it really-
pushing him away, and he's acting
Oh.
like they're dating.
And I mean, like, it clearly looks like she has blood, later on. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, I almost feel like he's probably never been with a woman, and she's the first one to even just say anything to him. And so that's all it takes. If you're his age and you've never been with a woman, you kind of get what you try to take what you can get.
Yeah. Thank you for shopping at Walmart. And he's like, she loves me.
Oh my gosh.
But no, that like Julie Delpy has like this very unique look to her. Like, I don't know what it is. But
She's French.
But it is, huh?
I think she's French.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. So maybe that's
Okay.
it. Maybe that's what it could be. But when we see her for the first time and she's like walking up, which is weird. Like,
Well, no,
I
that
get-
wasn't the first time. The first time was on the train.
Julie Delpy was on the train?
Yes. In the beginning, I think. I'm almost positive. And that's when he saw her again.
No, that's not the girl he was flirting with. No.
Andy saw her, or he saw her somewhere else. That wasn't the first place he saw her. Because didn't he say, like, what are you doing here? Or something like that? Like, like from, I'm almost positive
No, it was weird that they were saying that. They were saying, what is she doing here? But I don't think it was the girl. Maybe. I don't know.
I could have sworn that she was.
Because I remember the girl that we saw was definitely not her. The girl that they were talking about, like, oh, I'm going to go get her number. Do I get points for that if I go get her number?
Yeah, but didn't Andy see someone else? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I
don't
watched
know,
the
but-
first movie.
Yeah. But when she came up, when she gets up she walks up. So, it's close to a full moon at this point, which at least the full moon rules are good in this movie. It's really like, hey, you can turn around only around the full moon. Not like these random things until like what her stepdad created. But she must have used some of the werewolf skills to get that high up. She wasn't winded. And she's like standing there. She's looking out. She's standing up there.
And
She's
has
like,
good
you don't have
balance.
to do this. Great balance.
has
For her
good
to
balance.
look back. Yeah,
And
exactly.
again, security allowed another person in there. So, I mean, you literally have two separate groups that were hiding from security, and somehow they were able to go. I would assume, and I've never been to France, but like the Eiffel Tower probably is the most visited place in France.
Yeah, that's
right?
the Louvre. Yeah.
Right, add that in a Louvre. So, wouldn't you think like it would be high security at the Eiffel Tower? Like, and I'm assuming there have been probably people that have tried to jump off it.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So like you would think like for safety reasons, because even the walk up, I don't like heights, and I was getting nervous when they were walking up because it was so high, and the railing, forget about it. I mean, when they went up there, the railing was so low, like easily someone could fall over. Like definitely not a safe place.
But when she gets up there and then she jumps, and the fact that in a second he's like, I'm going to follow her down. That was just a crazy thing. And the fact that buddies noticed that it's not tied up, they grab it like just in time, and he catches her. She like falls like nothing happened onto the ground. He gets shot up in what would be death for a normal person.
Oh, I think he would have been decapitated, maybe.
Oh
or at least
God.
his face would be mangled, but he just got a couple bruises when he was in the hospital. But, okay, so his buddies grab the rope. Now, there's no knot on the rope. So my guess is the weight of him going, there's no way you have a chance of holding on to that rope.
no
The
way.
rope will... If there was a knot there, you might have a chance. Even then, you're still not going to have a chance, but you have a better chance at a knot at the end of the rope. Your hands slide back, and at least it stops. There's nothing stopping there. So, like that rope is going right through their hands or pulling them over.
But when he goes to the hospital, so he whacks his head, she runs away. She had a suicide note that she drops, that the guys find later. But like when he's in the hospital, we see him covered, right? His face looks so puffy, all of that. And that's it. Like when he leaves the hospital, which is like the next day, he's fine. His face looks completely normal.
Yeah.
No scratches, no marks, nothing. But when he sees her in the hospital, man, that was pretty awesome. Like that whole scene was great. And I don't know if you like noticed this part of it. Like he sees her, he goes to like chase after her, and he's yelling down the hallway. A doctor runs out of an emergency room, and he's yelling, And he goes, "Oh, are you yelling to her? She has my heart." And he yells to her again, and then the doctor's gone. So what he didn't care about the heart anymore? It was like mid-surgery, it seemed. Somebody walked in, stole the heart, and he just walks back into the room. Or I don't know what happened.
They probably have a whole locker of hearts. You know, you think they only have one heart? They probably open up. We lost another one. All right, well, let's go get another one. Go ahead. You know,
another one. How are we losing more than one? How are we letting heart just walk up and leave?
Well, you are in Paris. I mean, there's a lot of werewolves there. You know,
I don't know.
But even from here on, there's a lot of corny music. Like there's some good music in it. You know, they have a lot of '90s music. They have Bush playing, which was pretty cool to hear.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it. I didn't know when this movie came out until I heard that song. I'm like, oh, this movie was in the '90s, I guess. You know, I thought it was earlier, just based on how bad it was. But like, it was like a lot of Hallmarky kind of music because there was the love story that's going through Andy, and like it was just very corny. Like the music, like I'm like, this is a rated R movie, right? This is a rated R horror movie. There's like nothing going on but Andy's love for this girl that he knew for 2 seconds who almost died and killed him. Like it was just, I don't know. It was like I had a hard time getting through the first half hour of this movie.
Yeah, no, it was tough because it was like, I want you. Get away. You shouldn't be with me. Fine. And then, okay, I found you again. And then she falls in love for a little bit. And then she gets away. And it's like this, like even the fact that she gave him the date, like the fact that he shows up because they found out where she lived.
Okay.
From, how did they find, from the note, from the suicide note.
Okay. I would think in suicide notes, they're not putting a last name. Right? You know, like if most people write a suicide note, you know, because they're making it personal, you know, like they're not just doing it. Yeah, so
they write to Bob, and Bob's reading this, and it's like, Tony, which Tony?
Tony, right.
Killed himself.
I mean,
was it Tony Smith or Tony Johnson? I don't know. I guess I have to go check the obituary. Like, yeah, you know who wrote it.
Without a doubt. So there's no way her last name's on there, which means there's no way they're looking her up and to find her. You know, like, you know, so how do they find her address? Because, you know, can you imagine putting like, you know, like just your full name? It just doesn't make sense. So, you know, the fact that, and they're in another country. You think it's easy to navigate? You know, this is before GPS. So you think it's easy to just navigate in another country because you look up someone's name in the phone book, which I don't even know if they had phone books back then.
Well, no, I'm sure they had phone books back
in the
then.
90s. I don't remember.
They had phone books in like the 50s and 60s. How else did you get people's numbers?
I guess. I don't know.
Operating?
All right, fine. So they had phone books. But wait. Also, they're probably written in French. So,
well, her name's Seraphin. If that was like the States, I feel like there's probably like 4 Seraphins here. I've never heard that name before. It was like very unique. And
but it might be it might be like Heather in France.
It could be.
Seraphin.
It could be.
You know, or just Seraphin in the werewolf world. That might be one of the, you know.
When you become a werewolf, you get a werewolf name.
But okay, so they find her house, and again, she answers with, you know, first of all, it's creepy enough that they're showing up at her house, right? I mean, you know, one, she's probably uncomfortable because she was trying to kill herself. 2, he almost died. So it's a weird thing. You don't even know her. You didn't even speak to her. You basically saved her and left. And now you're showing up at her house, which is pretty weird. But she shows up with bloody hands.
Oh, yeah, and he caught her stealing a heart. She was showing a shoe. And also, what was on his head? So he's covering whatever damage he has. And he's wearing like almost like a leopard print handkerchief.
Yeah. Well, that didn't make sense. That was stupid. So, but the minute you see the bloody hands, I mean, if you know nothing about this woman, right? She might have been a murderer who felt guilty of what she's been doing, and that's why she's trying to kill herself. And, you know, like, you don't know her story, yet she shows up with bloody hands dripping when she opened the door. Isn't that a sign? Say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't pursue this girl.
Yeah, and even if you were into the girl still, she's pretty dumb. Like, you can't wipe your hands before you go to the door. Like,
correct. And not for nothing, the house looks like Dr. Frankenstein's lair. I mean,
yeah.
Every place in this movie looks like Frankenstein's lair. Like, is that what France looks like? Is that like, everywhere you go, it's like some kind of dungeon? Because there's a lot of dungeons. There's a lot of dungeons in this movie.
Yeah. Now, did you think the buddies knew? So that's what I forgot what movie we just talked about like recently, and the same kind of thing happened. We were like, "Oh, did so and so know?" Because it didn't seem like it. And this movie, to me, it seemed like the buddies didn't know. But then, like 2 scenes later, when they're going back to the house, it's like, "Huh?
No, what?
About the bloody hands?" Because he mentioned it. Oh, did you see her hands? Oh, she was probably. And the buddies even, I think, said like, "Oh, she was probably like doing something in the house," because she said I was painting my basement.
Yeah.
But then like 2 scenes later when they go back, he was like recapping like, "Oh, the weird date you had and this." And oh yeah, she had blood on her hands.
They didn't seem the brightest. I mean, listen, we've all painted a room before. If your hand is covered that bad with paint, you shouldn't be painting. I mean,
OJ was painting that room.
Sure,
I was just painting.
But we didn't even talk about the fact that they were able to find that letter that fell from the top of the Eiffel Tower, that floated down, and they were able to find it.
Find it in a montage that included the one guy jumping over a businessman's back to look at the newspaper he was reading. That's where we're thinking this paper flew down, and somehow went into today's newspaper that this guy's holding, and he's walking through the park. Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, just so stupid. Yeah. Like, that's the only way they were going to be able to find the connection to get him to see Julie Delpy. Is find that letter.
Yeah.
It just, I would say it would be almost like 1 in 1,000's chance that if you drop a letter from the Eiffel Tower and go back the next day, you're not even talking about looking like, if you look for it right away, you might have a shot.
Oh, I know.
But if you go back the next day with wind and people walking around and everything else, you're telling me you're going to go back and you're able to find it? You think it's going to be even close to the area that it landed in? It's a letter. It's going to be flying around everywhere.
Yeah. But he's pushy, dude. He's pushy. Come on, please. Come on. And he gets a date. So then the date, when the buddies set him up on the date, and it's basically like they took pieces of their own clothing. Well, that's what happened. And put them on him. Here, take this jacket, take these glasses, take this hat. And he looked like an undercover cop. Like he
stood out totally. And the fact that like he would want those two guys sitting literally 2 tables away watching the entire thing. Like that's why I say, like, I don't think he's ever been probably even near a girl. Like, and I mean, you see someone like Julie Delpy hits a home run, he's okay. I mean, like, it was a whole weird situation, the whole date situation. I mean, clearly the only excuse he had was to pretend that the condom was gum.
Oh my!
That was the best option. That grossed me out so much. That was so gross.
And that was in Coneheads, like a few years before this. Remember when he was like blowing condoms? He was blowing them like bubble gum.
No, I don't remember. But that's it's just so gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And you hear the sound of like rubber.
And I mean, I mean,
I did like the callback at the end to finish the scene when the guy came over and then it went because we saw it fall in his soup. That was pretty funny when he came over, getting ready to whoop his ass.
Oh,
you found you found my gum.
The one guy knew. I mean, when after it blew up. I mean, But it's so ridiculous. That's such a like a Farrelly Brothers gag. Like I can see that in like Something About Mary or something. Like. Okay.
And then Delpy shows her a little bit of power, so she can turn it on whenever. She's able to turn it on a little bit, and she throws the guy through like glass, and it's like, all right, see ya. I feel like if that happens, you have to stick around, right? Like,
well, wait, are you talking about him? I'm saying like
for anybody.
Okay.
I'm saying like the Julie Delpy, like the guys like. She assaulted this guy.
Oh, you're talking about the restaurant?
Caused
at the restaurant.
A lot of damage.
Of course.
Through a lot of stuff.
I think meant Andy should stick around. I'm thinking, all right, the scene before this, she had bloody hands. In this scene, she's threw a guy through, like clearly. I got to get away from it. One,
He's
she
hooked.
jumped off the Eiffel Tower. The next day, she has bloody hands. Today, she's throwing people around. I mean, like, how many more signs you need that, this is probably not a good idea? And you've known her, what? This is the second day? It's the next day.
Yeah.
It's right. It's so, I mean, like, really? Like, you've known this girl, barely, I mean, known. You didn't even talk to her the first day. So this is the second day. And you all you did was meet her at the door. That was the first interaction. It's so weird.
And then how about when they run outside when they're about to like kiss and then they run and he has like a nick on his neck, right? Or on his cheek. And she sees that and like has to kiss the blood, man.
See, it's a lot of that doesn't make sense. Like a lot of I don't think I've ever seen that in other movies where the werewolves were just so hung up on blood. Like it didn't make sense. I feel like that was I don't know. I mean, maybe I got to do some research on werewolves, but that seems like a vampire thing, not a werewolf thing.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe they
because vampires. The rules are vampires need to survive. I've never heard a werewolf have to kill or do anything like that.
No, but I mean, the blood thing, like the whole movie, they're going through. They're smelling the blood, they're licking the blood, or whatever. So, and then they get the note. Who tells them about the party?
Claude.
Someone outside.
Claude goes,
Claude.
"Hey, this is
okay,
a full moon party."
Okay, all right. So first of all, I don't even think there was an address on there. But they go to this place. The minute you walk into that place, I'm ready to turn around. Like it looks like the most shady place, like in another country. And when you get down there, it looks like it was a Right Said Fred music video of people, right? You know what Right Said Fred looks like? Like the video of I'm Too Sexy. It looks like a mix between a Right Said Fred video party and the Blue Oyster when they're down there. Because like there's no women around in the first scene. And it's just like, it's weird. Like it's like a dungeon. Like, I don't know. I'd be creeped out. I'd feel like it's like a Hostel movie that they're going to, so they're going to take me and do whatever,
Exactly. And it was like not even a few stairs. It was like a 50, 100 stairs. I feel like he was walking down for so long because I remember when his buddy left and his buddy's like, "Don't worry, man. Hey, you guys stay here. You guys have fun. I'll go back to the villa." It's like, that's weird. Well, like, why would you guys split? This is 19. Like, I get it. Like, not that far removed. Like, was when I was in high school and we like started having cell phones. But like, I don't know, man. Just I can't think living now, thinking about then. I couldn't imagine like being in Europe, like another, like in Paris, be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go 3 blocks down, guys.
No, you wouldn't.
I'll meet you at the tree. I'll meet you at the tree." I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, no. And so here's a question I have. So clearly, these werewolves use this club for these type of gatherings. Now, when they eat them, are they killing them or are they turning them all to werewolves?
No, they're killing them. I think it's only it's by choice. Like Claude says about Andy later, you were an accident.
Right. Okay. So what are they doing with all the bodies? And
they leave them. They just keep going
to another dungeon to do another party. It's like so there's multiple dungeons where they're going to. Is that the same one?
No, it's different. Yeah, they always find a different one because the other one was like in a cement factory looking thing.
Okay, so clearly at some point the police have to find whatever they're going to find down there of old mangled bodies. Mm-hmm. You would think like they would think this is some kind of serial thing going on, because I'm sure it's not the first time they've done that, and it's not the first time they've come across these bodies. But when you look at the police in this movie, one, they're awful. They're awful shots.
They're so bad.
And they look like they've never seen action before, ever. So, like, I wonder if they've, are they never coming across? So all these dungeons in Paris just have a lot of dead bodies just like decomposing, down there because no one's...
Don't they have to be like running out of dungeons? Is there that many of those spaces that are like going to a sewer system and
Now, is the bouncer a werewolf? Because he doesn't turn, right? He's just the bouncer.
I don't think so. He's just like he looks like one man gang from WWF, right? He just looks like this. Hey, dummy, here's $50. Let people in, and then I'll give you the signal, and you're just gonna lock them in. Okay, that's what he does.
Would you trust that job? I mean, if he's not a werewolf, and these guys keep killing people daily, whatever. Like, how do you know they're not going to turn on you? You know, at any point. Like, I wouldn't want to work for them. Like, I would not want
explaining that job to your mom or your mom's friend. So what do you do? I like help. I get people together, and I keep them there. Oh, that's great. You're in customer relations? Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I'm a people person, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, the people are gone, and then I just get more people. But yeah, no, that whole thing's ridiculous. I love that he's like whistling, like, and he rips the sign down for the party that's like the full moon party, throws it into the dumpster. Like, wouldn't the cops, when they come there, just like quickly be like, all right, well, we know about this full moon. There's the signs in the garbage right here. So we're trying to piece together what happened. But yeah, what a ridiculous.
And again, it's not the first time they've had a party. So there's got to be like, you think like the police, you would hear like I think in a better movie, you would hear like people talking about, oh yeah, there was another massacre, you know, somewhere else. Like, you know, like just have some inclination. Like they really look like they've never seen a werewolf before. And this is happening right under their nose, like multiple times. So.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point is when Seraphine gets there, right? The friend goes to the house first. So the friend, this is creepy. Like Seraphine's at the house. Yes. All right, I gotcha. So he lets himself in the house by taking off the window, and he crawls in because Seraphine's in the jail. He sees her first. Yeah, he sees her in jail, which is wild.
Yes, he's staring at her in the window. That's first of all. Yeah. But then he comes in there. I guess he thought he was saving her. Is that why he opened the window?
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted.
Oh, okay.
He saw her. So
it's not as creepy.
He went back there because he was into her. Was he like, dude? I think I'm more of a match than Andy. I'm gonna go back.
Well,
to
I mean,
like,
you know, the guy had his shirt on. He had his shirt off like 5 times in this movie. You know.
Yeah.
Didn't say much, but his shirt was off every time. He's like the Mario Lopez of the movie.
He looks like that guy who plays Tony on Seinfeld. The one that dates. That's who he sort of looks like. It can't be him.
He looked very familiar though. He had like I feel like I definitely have seen him in other movies.
He has that 90s look, like Michael Cavallari, who we talked to in the next Karate Kid. He has that same kind of like the face and the way the hair was. But so he goes back there, like you said, he sees her like in a jail cell. He sneaks in the basement, and she sneaks out, and she's able to get him out. Right?
How'd she get the key? How'd she get the key to get out? I don't remember. Oh, he probably let her out.
He let her out. Yeah.
So he told her that there's a party going on here, and she knew it's bad news, so she left and locked him in there.
For his safety.
Okay. All right. So, and then Seraphine goes to the party. Now, you know, I mean, since it's already in there, what he does to get the key, I don't think he would ever be able to get the key the way he gets it.
I know. He nailed it.
I would say
he had one shot. He had one shot.
I don't care if he had
the key to fall on the shirt.
Fall on the shirt and get the key off
I know.
the rack. If you tried 100 times, I don't think you would be able to do it. And he did it on one shot.
Yeah, it's impossible because you'd have to hit the key. And if you're hitting the key, most of the time it's going to take the key is going to go down at the same time. So for you to
spin around on the hook, and it's not even going to fall off. So
yeah.
So okay, but she ends up going to the party, and I guess the bouncer knew who she was, right? Or because at first he wasn't letting her in.
Yeah. Because all the werewolves know her, and I guess she sort of was with Claude, or maybe Claude bit her. I don't know.
Were there any female werewolves? Like I feel like I didn't see.
She was the only one.
She was the only one, and I didn't see any until the end. There were a few females, but in this club scene, I don't think there were any females.
Yeah, there was none. And there was guys dancing, like the one guy had the 3 drinks. The one guy that was he was cool because he had that little cameo back like later in the movie in the autopsy room. Right. He was the guy that popped his head out. He was on like 4 fisting drinks and dancing.
You know what? Yeah, I didn't realize that was the same guy. That's fun. And he had a funny line when he was in the morgue when he comes out. You know, can a guy rest in pieces? I think he said. But I mean, okay, so again, like these guys are there to hook up with girls. They go to this weird club where there's not one woman down there. Why are they staying? Well, the thing, you know.
That's
and
true.
then and so Seraphine gets down there, warns Andy. Andy still has no clue, but he's just following her because he grabs her by the hand and leaves his friend there.
I know.
He didn't even tell his friend he was leaving.
Yeah. He does that twice in this movie. He leaves his friends.
He's very
terrible situations.
Oh, awful. And his friend was smart enough at least to follow.
Yeah.
I saw that guy, didn't he play a mute in a movie, like a comedy?
I told you, he was he's in Rat Race. He had
is that where he was a mute?
Guy,
yeah, he's right.
His
Okay,
his tongue got infected.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
I
and he
thought
was
it was
a few
another
other
movie.
things, but he was. Again, so Andy runs off with Seraphine. Brad goes to like find him, and because Claude is the one that bites him. Because at first I thought it was
you don't know that
Seraphine. You don't know yet. No.
So you just gave the big spoiler, right from the beginning.
I don't know. Is that the big spoiler that he gets to cross over?
I think so, because the whole movie, everybody's thinking it's Seraphine, and there's a point where I think even Seraphine thought that because she wanted to kill her. So which didn't make sense.
Oh, Andy, you're talking about biting Andy. I was talking about the friend, Brad. I was talking about Brad.
Oh no, that wasn't Sarah. That wasn't Claude.
I know. I didn't know.
Guy.
You didn't really kind of know because it was the kind of the same hallway, and then that was the same time that she ran off from Andy.
I got it. So yeah, I didn't think it was. Well, he doesn't get bit yet because the party's just about like ending, and he's still following them.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. But I mean, all hell breaks loose at this point at the party. When everybody starts changing. So they keep taking the serum. So the full moon effect does not affect this movie at all whatsoever.
Well, they don't do the serum. The serum's in the next one. They don't do it yet because we didn't know about the serum yet. So there's like an actual full moon. Right? There's an actual full moon that night. That's why it's a full moon party.
Yeah, but you have to see the full moon to turn toward.
Oh, I don't know. Is that a thing? No.
Yes,
what's his name in the old Wolfman movie? He was like at his.
And he looks out the window and he sees the full moon.
I think if you just walk around like this during the full moon time, you're safe.
I think you have. That's. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
no,
I know.
It must not be, because why would she put herself in a jail cell? She just lock herself in the basement
because there's no windows there. There's no windows.
That's fine,
right?
So it's good.
But that means she can't leave the house. So I think. Listen, if you watch the old, was it who played the werewolf? Lon Chaney.
Lon Chaney.
Yes. So I could swear that every time he looked out the window and he saw the full moon is when he started changing. So you know what? That's Egan. Need to know about werewolves.
I don't remember that because I remember that whole transformation scene because I love the way they do it in Abbott and Costello because it's the same. He looked
at the window. Yeah. There's a lot of windows in Abbott and Costello. I'm willing to bet, but all right. Well, anyway, so they change on their own, or they took the drug without us seeing it. Which is possible.
No,
I
don't know if they did it yet. I guess that could make sense because all of it was missing. So maybe they were using it, but we find out about it like a little bit later.
No, right. We find out about it, but my guess is they might have been taking it. We don't know about it yet until later on, but that's how they turned. Unless my theory is wrong and they don't have to see
a full moon. Yeah, no, it must have been a full moon because then she turned too. But you're going to say because she was in the moonlight. She was. We saw the moon on her face, and then that's when we got that close-up transformation. So so maybe it could be a little bit of it. But yeah, so she transforms. She's trying to get him away, dude. Could you again? All the signs like with this girl, and then the last straw would be if she starts throwing bricks at me.
And again, this is only 2 days of knowing a foreign woman. Like you don't know her. She's from another country, and you're just not looking at signs at all. I mean, I would say the brick, and she's sending you down like a dungeon hallway by yourself. What do you need?
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
ridiculous.
Dude. So then at this, we talked about the buddy who was back at the house, who got locked up. He did his escape. I did kind of like the scene when he goes over to see what the sound is behind the curtain, and it was a werewolf on the thing. Like, that was a cool escape, just the way he ran into the corner. The bed flipped over and he was able to just jump over it. Like, that was actually pretty cool looking.
Well, he was the athletic friend, right? So he was able to do all the parkour kind of stuff. No, yeah, I mean, it was good. But you know what? They gave the guy a small role. Like, I mean, after this scene, like, you really don't see him until later on when he gets taken, and then you see him at the end. Like, you know, like, so he was almost forgotten about for a while, I feel like. And I feel like Andy, again, he went on this trip with his two friends.
Mm-hmm.
When his friend dies, he doesn't seem that sad the next scene, or even that scene.
Yeah.
And then his friend is kidnapped. He's like, it's almost like he forgot about him because he's focusing on other things. Like, he's really not a good friend.
He's
I feel
not.
like
When
they
he
were more of a
sees,
friend.
oh, dude, and it seemed like they were picking on him, like, you know, like in that opening scene on the train. So maybe there was that kind of complex, like that kind of relationship with them. But even when no, you're right. Like, just their relationships are, it's just very odd how much they care about him, and he gives two shits about it.
He really,
Because when he sees Brad's body, he's not that upset. Like, he has to see
that's
it.
what I said.
The
That's
cops
what I
holding
mean.
him back. Yeah.
He didn't seem. He goes out. Yeah, I'm sad my friend died. Or something like that. That's it. Like, it was like he literally got mangled, and you're okay with that, and then you're able to just act normal the rest of the trip. Like, you know, he's forgotten about. Like, literally, like, his friend has died. Like, at that point, when you say, like, you know what, we got to end this trip. Let's get back home. You know, it's just a lot of things. Listen, the first night we hear, you know, I almost died on the Eiffel Tower. My friend just died. You know what? Maybe we should just go home. You know, let's keep you know, partying and, you know, hooking up and doing what we can.
Well, they don't hook up, but
well,
the next scene he does.
Does he though?
Yeah, that was real.
Because it happened like 3 different times. Like, it was a dream at first. So, like, was he because he's in the middle of transforming his body somehow, like he's envisioning it?
Maybe, but yeah, that was really funny.
And
that was
why is he able to see the mom?
Because he's a werewolf now, so he can see the end.
Okay, so you're telling me every werewolf sees every single dead person that's out there that was killed by a werewolf?
That's still in purgatory? Maybe. That'd be a good show.
That'd be
you have a werewolf. You have a werewolf that is trying to help people get to the other side. Is that like Chuck? Not Chucky. Chuck. What was that one show with My Name is Earl when he was trying to right all his wrongs? Each week they can help somebody cross over by finding their werewolf or figuring out things for them.
That's okay. So again, there's a lot of werewolves in that gang. There's a lot of dead people walking around. Why are there not more dead people walking around?
Yeah, we didn't see any.
You know, again, I don't know if that's a rule. I don't know if a werewolf I think you only see the ones that you killed.
Oh, okay.
That would make more sense, I guess. But then again, why is the mom being like, you know, he shouldn't be able, because if you go to the first movie, he's the only one that saw his friend.
Yeah.
So right there, it just tells you, like, he, you know, so like only his friend saw him. So, you know, he should only see because he didn't kill his friend, did he? In the first one? Did he kill his friend?
No.
Right. So he shouldn't be, I don't know. I don't know the rules of this.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. So that doesn't follow the rules, because the rules in the first one, he didn't kill him. He just got killed.
But he's the only one that saw him.
To him. Yeah.
Because I think there were parts where he's like, does anyone else see this guy? And he was the only one that saw him. And he was decomposing every time he saw him. But in this one, he looks the same. In fact, like, he doesn't even look that mangled.
He's a little more mangled, but it's not as. He doesn't look.
He looks like a cat scratching him. He's got scratches on his face.
Yeah.
Julie Bowen looks more mangled than he does.
Hers is great. Oh my God, man. But yeah, so this is when right around this time after Brad dies, it's when Andy gets bit. He's getting ready to jump away. He's like climbing through this tunnel. He gets his leg bit, and then everything goes black. And that's when he wakes up here's a smoothie getting made for him. And it's crazy, his buddy, again, who cares so much, he just escaped that house where he saw a werewolf, a girl locked him away, she had blood on her hands the day before, and he's still peeping in the window, and he sees the heart smoothie getting made.
Okay, all right. So, number one, how did he get to Seraphine's house?
She brought him, probably. I would think she just
bit him. Why did the werewolf... I guess. I mean, the werewolves didn't catch up to him and finish the job.
Well, she bit him. So I don't know.
No, she didn't bite him. Claude did.
Yeah, she did.
No, she didn't.
It was Claude that bit him?
That's why when he killed Claude at the end, he was saved.
Oh, I thought when he killed Claude, that's when it saved his buddy.
I don't know. I don't know who.
So maybe she was. Maybe you're right. No. Maybe she was just hanging around, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I think he just got bit. Let me carry him back." But she brought him back.
Well, that's what I meant. Like they made it look like she's the one that bit him the whole movie, but then, oh no, it was him because Claude had that scar on his chest that he stabbed him with.
You're right. That was the twist. Yeah.
Right. So that was a twist.
So
I was saying. So that's why, we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So his friend's waiting in the bushes, which that always cracks me up in movies when people like are waiting in bushes. Like it's almost impossible to wait in a bush. Like I've been, I've jumped in bushes. I've you can't wait in a bush. And he's literally looks like he's in the bush. But how long was he planning on waiting there? Because he was waiting there for the whole time that he had the dreams that he was hooking up with Seraphine. Like, how do you know how long it was going to be? Like he was going to wait, just sit in that bush until, everything was done, until he had a chance.
And how many rocks did he throw? How do you know his buddy was awake? He's just getting ready to
how do you know what room he was in?
That's true.
That wasn't on the bottom floor. He didn't see him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how would.
Okay.
He had a good vantage point he had a good bush that he was standing there. Yes. But yeah,
and the group bush plays on this.
Oh, right here. Is it when they're about?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying it was in the movie. For a rated R movie though, there's no nudity in this movie.
Yeah, there is. Huh. You see Julie Delpy's boobs for like a half a second.
No, you don't. You see like a side thing. Like you don't see at all. Like she's literally covered up. Yeah, his hands over the boobs. That counts. That's not.
That was that was a weird scene.
But even at the end, like when they put the jacket on her, she's covered. They clearly. You know what? Actually, the only nudity you see is his ass later on. That was it. But yes, this scene was extremely weird. It was like, yeah.
I just thought about how many takes they did or messed up lines. He's just standing there.
I wrote that down too. Like, if you're in his shoes, do you mess up on purpose a few times just to? I don't know. His hands were literally holding her the entire scene.
Weird, very weird. Yeah.
My guess is if they're doing it, she's wearing a shirt for all it takes, and then for the final one, she takes the shirt off. But I think I can imagine they did multiple takes after seeing, being on Happy Gilmore and seeing what they do for scenes. Every scene is done multiple times. So if you're going to be in a movie, those are the scenes that make the standing around worth it.
That's what makes it. But it was where she was like, he's like, I'm nervous. What helps Americans relieve stress? Boobs. Like kissing, they're making out. I'm like, what is happening? She's like, I feel so bad for what happened to you. I'm going to help you out the best that I can because she's like, I made you a smoothie, and then we got so weirded out.
So what does the smoothie do?
Again, I think the rules are weird. Like they're taking vampire rules that maybe werewolf movies are like that. I just don't think about that.
No, but they don't. She didn't discuss why she wants him to drink the smoothie. And she kept saying, "You
she just said
drink this,
better."
Yeah. So but what is the smoothie supposed to do? I mean, he's already turning. It's not going to stop him from turning. So there was no explanation why she was making a smoothie, a heart smoothie.
Maybe in this lore of werewolves, because remember he was almost like it was hungover. Remember when he was walking to go see his buddy and the light was real bright. So maybe he was getting tired or weak because he didn't have enough. He hasn't eaten. He didn't have his first food. But
I thought it was because he jumped off the Eiffel Tower the day before. I thought that might have been. I thought that had something to do with it.
Yeah. But just the way I offer you a drink and what wasn't telling you what it is, when they described it, they said it won't taste great at first, but you'll get used to it. You need it, and it was like, whoa.
And it's a full glass of this.
Oh, that's I just thought
of the reddish
juice to the rim. The rim.
Didn't he say something I don't like clamatos or something like that? Or he said something
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. But he gets to the crime scene, so he gets there. He sees all the pieces of the body, so we see like it was discovered. And I wonder how it got discovered. Did they mention like what they found to make them go to that scene?
No,
I don't think they really did.
No, they did.
But all the bodies are just laid out, all the pieces, and that's when he saw his buddy there, and then that's when he's getting interrogated in the scene.
And again, even the cops, that couldn't have been the first time they saw something like that, because again, there's a lot of werewolves in that club, but they also don't seem that fazed or grossed out that they're like picking up an arm. There's like, you know, like body parts all over the place. It almost seemed like, again, these cops were not good at all.
Yeah,
the one cop, forget about it. The one at the end, the
main guy.
No, not the main guy. He was like, he was like a side cop. He had a couple of scenes though, and he was awful. Yeah. Okay.
So
no,
he gets in.
Isn't that where they took the fingerprints? So they took the fingerprints of the arm, or the fingers, but it was just an arm, like right in front of everybody. Like, what did like they were spectators standing all around everywhere there. Like, what do you like? I know you close it off, but like, you're not going to do a deep dive investigation with, you know, doing fingerprints with the dead hands that are around there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like it was. And would you want to stand around looking at that if you're a spectator? Like, it was one. It probably smelled so bad, but like, how gross that even. I don't even like to see a paper cup bleeding. I mean, let alone like arms all over the place, you know?
Oh my God, man. Okay. Yeah. So he gets interrogated. He's able to get him, you know, he's able to, you know, leave because there was nothing on him. And dude, this is the next like 10 minutes of this movie are insane. Like, so he's at the restaurant eating because now he's like, needing, you know, his you know, his red meat, like almost like like zombies, zombie lore and vampire lore, usually blood. Like I never think of the werewolf as that, but so he's like, yeah, can I have another steak? The rarer the better. How much money does this guy have? This is like kind of a nice looking place, and he's getting like rare steak after rare steak. But when he sees Julie Bowen,
what is wrong with her? Like, but what is wrong with her?
Crazy.
And this came out after Happy Gilmore, which I was surprised. Like, so she made Happy Gilmore and then went to this movie. I thought this came out first.
Yeah, no, she looks great in this movie. So I get why he did it, but there's something totally wrong with her. Like you were saying, the fact that a guy would like sniff, he's crawling on the ground like a dog, sniffing her, and then she's pissed at first. Until he speaks and she goes, American?
His head goes up her dress a little bit, I think, when he's sniffing her.
He's sniffing her like a dog.
But the minute he starts going on all fours and sniffing, that's like, again, a red sign, like, you know, red flag. You know what? This is a little weird. But then he said something about a cat perfume or something, or he smells a cat.
He knew the exact perfume she was wearing.
Yeah.
The brand.
Well, see, that's the one thing I did like about this movie is when you see the point of view of the werewolves and you see the sniffing, like you see the scent, the orange scent of the people that they're running away, and you see that trail. That was pretty cool. You know, that was a cool way to do it. But you know, again, like the way he's acting, I don't think Michael J. Fox acted like this when he was. Did he? Only when he was turning, right? When he got excited about Booth. He started turning, and that's when he started acting like an animal because he scratched her. But like when he his normal self was not acting like a werewolf.
No, in Teen Wolf, no, he was totally normal.
That's what I mean. Lon Chaney always acted normal, right? So like the fact that he's acting like a wolf as a human again doesn't make sense. Like I feel like this movie just makes its own rules for the wolves, and you know how things happen.
Yeah. But when he's just like, could you imagine like, oh, how did you meet your husband? Oh, well, funny you should ask. He was crawling on the ground and he was sniffing me. You know, dogs sniff dogs when they meet him. That's what he did. But she was all for it. Once he spoke and he mentioned the perfume and she's like, oh, American. And then then they go on the date.
Well, is that a date? So that's not even a date. So he goes, do you like the Doors?
Restaurant.
No. He goes,
no, the Doors is afterwards.
Oh,
No, so they were eating at the restaurant that they met at was not work because the other one was like all wood, unless it was just a different part of it.
Right.
The other one had like super white walls, and then people were like more dressed up, and he was just acting like such an a-hole. Like he was being such a prick.
Yeah. I totally forgot
He
about
was like,
this.
"Can I get some more of this with the wine?" He's like, "Can I get some more of your best?" And he was and she was cackling like she was hammered. It was like so bizarre.
She was, you know what? I needed a little bit more story on her because she was very bizarre. She was like, and you know, she's an American. She was excited that he was American. So that was a big, which is also weird because she's, you know, a single girl in France. You would think that she's, you know, looking to hook up with French guys. And she was excited that American was there and she hooked up, you know, she wanted to hook up with American. You know,
she wanted to go with the, you know, she knows she wanted a little throwback. I've been hooked up with French guys for the last 3 years, you know.
And clearly she has a freaky side to her because again, he was walking on all fours. She liked that. He was sniffing her. You like that. And then the fact that, you know, she's okay doing it in the graveyard. I mean,
dude,
like, you know,
that was the craziest thing ever. I'm thinking they're just going to like make out, which is crazy enough. But when you see like the candles and the whole setup like on the grave,
no, I don't think that was Jim Morrison's grave, right? Isn't it?
But they weren't having sex on it.
Yeah, they were, but the candles I think are always lit. I don't think he brought the candles.
Okay.
My guess is that's part of the memorial. Where's he getting the candles from? I mean, first of all,
it's in the same bag as the bungee cord.
Okay, I mean, not for nothing. That was a big bungee cord to be fitting into a backpack. Like,
where's the bungee cord right now? That's what I want to know. In this movie, where is it? Are they buying a new one for the end of the movie?
No, they left it up there.
Where are they storing it? Oh, they left it there. And nobody goes up there ever.
So he brought nothing else but a bungee cord in his backpack.
It seems that way.
Okay.
Is he wearing the same clothes the whole movie? I never even thought of that. The buddy was in a white shirt for the rest of the movie, but I don't know if Andy's changing. I'm sure maybe she had like her
he has to because
clothes.
He's naked every time he turns to a werewolf.
Yeah.
So it's like the Hulk. You know, like, you know, when you turn into the werewolf, you got to find new clothes again. Like, it'd be funny if the pants like were cut off like the Hulk, and the werewolf was running around with pants on. You know, like the Hulk does sometimes.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so she's
so just a little bit of Julie Bowen, and the craziest part of this scene is the fact that they start like doing it. He runs away. And I just think this is the most hilarious part.
Would that work by cooling off in the... Clearly it doesn't work.
Pants, Romeo.
Like, what a weirdo. Like,
again, at this point, she's not like red flag. Weird enough, I agreed to go bang on Jim Morris in the grave. Now I'm going to go look for him.
To sleep with to get a decent guy into bed.
And not for nothing, that looks like a very creepy cemetery. Like, there's not one normal tombstone there.
Oh, and then this guy, who's the worst, he's the worst guy in this whole movie.
You know what? I expected more from this guy.
You know,
like,
I know. I wasn't expecting this part.
No.
He gets her killed.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, she looks great in this movie.
But how did she notice to use the perfume?
Andy?
Oh,
like
because she remembered how much she smelled it before, which is weird. If you feel like the only way you could find the guy that you were just having sex with is by spraying perfume in the air, you need to question things about your life.
And not for nothing. So the guy, the cop, was he watching them the whole time?
I think so. Oh, that didn't look too bad, the pop out.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I feel like the face of the werewolves, they look like trolls. Like, they don't look like,
they didn't
dog
face. They didn't look like even like, they didn't look close to like the traditional werewolf. You're right.
No, even at the end, especially at the end, they look like a troll face. Like, it was a little weird. But, so Julie Bowen runs around spraying everywhere. And I guess it doesn't work because she does get, found because she's still wearing the perfume. So I don't think, what's the difference? Didn't make sense.
That is true. I did like when she did fool him the first time. I thought that was great when she like sprayed on the door and he went into the different one. But how about the cop getting her killed when he's basically like, hey, stop. And then she looks over and then he comes behind, kills her. Like you said, I expected more of this cop. He gets killed right afterwards.
I thought he was
man.
I thought he was like a main character that's gonna be like stalking Andy and and literally he dies. And the poor dog.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
God,
yeah.
right next to him on the
I know.
next day.
Oh, well, I mean, that was kind of funny. Just the fact that he woke up like that next to the dead dog, next to all the if you're a cop, like them, and they come over, what are you thinking? Like, what kind of banger did this guy go through? Ends up, probably having sex with a dog, running around, killing people, and then passing out from drugs.
But this time he didn't have anybody to carry him off because he gets caught. They find him naked. He's naked at the crime scene.
So what? Well, that's what I'm saying. So first of all, why didn't he eat the cop? He just killed him. Like why? Like why was the cop? Why was the dog there? Like they don't eat other dogs? Like is that is that cannibalism that he killed? He eats a dog?
Yeah. Oh my God, man. But so we already met the buddy. We saw the buddy for like a quick scene at the Jim Morrison, like at the cemetery. Rad as like the undead and like speaking to him. And then now we get Julie Bowen. She's back. And she's pretty funny. And she is like her look, she should have probably been in more. I don't know, like she could have been in like that bitch in a movie. Because even just her line.
But I think the thing is, because this movie was in the mid-90s, there were a lot of Cameron Diaz, the one from
I know. That's what I mean. But that's
they all look the same. They all have the blonde short hair. So there were so many, Amy Adams,
Christina Applegate,
Christine Applegate, and who's the girl from Joey Lawrence Adams,
yeah,
right.
Her
so
voice,
they all had the same look, right? So I think it was probably very difficult, and I guess who your agent was back then, because this look was big in the '90s. What she looked like.
Joey Lauren Adams, like she's good, but her voice is like what? Like she always talks like that, but in what is it? The Adam Sandler movie, The Big Daddy. Oh yeah. Her voice in that movie is just like it's like painful. It's like, how do you speak?
Yeah, but she's adorable. Like, because she's adorable.
Oh, I know.
So
she is.
So yeah. So
all right, man. But Julie Bowen's line when she's like, her first line is that I didn't use the Stairmaster for 4 years to get this body for you to chew me up like a lamb chop.
I think she had the best parts. I mean, like she's been trying to kill Andy in her scenes, like trying to set him up. But so I think I think they gave her a couple of good funny scenes. It got a little annoying. You had the two ghosts arguing with each other. Like it was a little silly. And the fact that like she's punching him and he goes right through. Like I feel like in the first movie, his friend acted like himself. Like he was just decomposing, but he acted like himself. Here, like they were very cartoony. As the ghosts. And again, that goes along with the movie. The movie is very cartoony, and again, I'm very surprised, that it's considered a horror. Because really, I mean, like even the kill scenes, like they really don't show, like they'll show like a second of it and it's like the aftermath. Like there's not a lot of like seeing of the killing.
I wonder if like a lot of it got cut, because I'm sure they wouldn't plan to do like that. Like, because you had the opportunity with a werewolf movie, something over the top, but there wasn't anything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right. So now Claude comes out of nowhere at this point, right? This is where.
Wait, are they arguing at the morgue? Are we at the morgue yet?
Yeah, that was the morgue scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the biggest mystery of the entire movie.
Okay.
The cops bring him down there. They leave him alone there. He's talking to the dead people. He hides in the drawer. And the next thing, he's walking on the street. How did he get to the street? Was there I'm thinking was there a secret compartment that like a tunnel from the drawer that he went like he literally they show him hiding there, and in seconds him and his two friends are walking in the street.
Yeah. They don't show of him actually like sneaking out after the cops like go to another door. No, they just do him outside. Yeah.
So they made it look like
couldn't find him. Hey, where is he? I don't know. Where'd he go?
Did not check one drawer.
Might have ate a person or murdered someone. Let's just give them free reign of the other dead bodies.
Oh my gosh.
If we assume that he did something terrible already, he's not going to do anything to the dead bodies?
Why is he not handcuffed?
Exactly. Yeah. Or somebody
and
watching.
Why would you like you said, why would you leave him alone? Like again, these cops look like they were like their first day on the job. like, you know, through the whole movie. So, I mean, there's a point where they missed every shot they took, but somehow Andy was able to shoot the target every single time.
Yeah.
You know, Andy's never used a gun before, yet somehow his aim was great. The cops couldn't hit a thing.
Yeah, the cops that I thought were going to murder him.
Oh.
Like when he grabbed the gun, and even though they knew that, hey, that he's not actually on our side, he's going to shoot at the you know, these bad guys. And they're like aiming at him. I'm like, really? Are they going to be the ones that murder him?
Well, she did say, I didn't say shoot. So the chief or whoever was with them. But so, okay. So, I mean, since I'll wait until we get there. Because then there's another mystery that there's something that happens in every movie, but somehow in this movie, it doesn't. So,
okay. So we'll get to that soon.
Okay.
So Claude gets, Claude comes out of nowhere. This is where he snatches up Andy, and he takes Andy to like the gang of werewolves hideout. And that's where he starts kind of explain, not like, I guess for most werewolves is like they choose, hey, this is who we want to join our werewolves. Maybe they check, you know, do a background check or do it based on like physical skills. But it was like, you were an accident. And then if you want to be one of us, you have to kill your buddy. And wasn't it weird? They gave him a knife. I guess, again, it's probably not a full moon, so you can't do anything at this point. But those guys seemed like they were, I guess, werewolves during the day, like Seraphin had earlier in the movie, they do have some kind of strength, even non-full moon.
I don't think they gave him the knife because of the full moon. I think they gave him a knife to kill him as a human so he can like show his loyalty, because killing him as a werewolf would be too easy.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, I mean, you know, I'm going to do some research on this full moon thing, but yeah, so I think that's why they did that. You know, so
man, dude, again, I wanted so much out of this movie. There were just so many scenes that I kind of felt, even this scene, like when they're fighting for a little bit, like when somehow, again, Andy is able to shoot a gun later in the movie. He's a good fighter at this point because he's able to like take out a few of the, you know, the werewolves. He's
fighting the leader of the werewolf club and pounding him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, there's no way. Well, that's what they are. So, okay.
Oh, man. But Seraphin, again, catches wind of this. Now we find out wherever this hideout is somehow connected to her house.
There's so many tunnels and dungeons, like, in this movie. I feel like everywhere you go, there's a tunnel that leads there. It's almost like the underground tunnels in Disney. Like, no matter where you go, there's a way to get to, you know, somehow go through one of the tunnels and, you know, that's how, Claude caught up to them. He went through one of the tunnels.
Well, no, Claude had to go the different way. Remember, he had to come through the front door because she threw a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, right,
and then she was
right,
like pouring gasoline and like whatever.
You're right.
But isn't that crazy that all of that running and then they were in the basement?
Yeah.
Her own basement. I'm like, really? Like everything, like their werewolf lair is hidden there, but just such a weird dynamic between Claude and Seraphin. Because even like when he comes to the house and they're like, he's running. It's like he got caught like sleeping with her because you see Andy jumping out of the back window.
Why was he at her house earlier in the movie when they first went there?
I don't know. I think
like I thought they were like brother and sister or something.
It seemed like that, yeah.
But I don't think so. So like, you know, later in the movie, obviously, like I don't know. Like they don't explain why Claude was hanging around with her. If he's the bad guy,
he bit her. I think he bit her.
Yeah, but still, like I think she's trying to control what she does, and she doesn't want to do it. Yeah. So why would you hang around with, you know, the meanest guy of them all of the gang? You know, like
maybe she can't get away from it. The werewolf club is attached to her house.
That is
they
true.
have to go through those tunnels.
Maybe that's how he escaped the morgue. There's probably tunnels in the drawers that he's go, you know, from one area. It's
like a big slide.
You know, like in Star Wars, the garbage chute.
Yeah. Man, she saves him again. And so, yeah, then we find out like the twist at the beginning of the movie. That was her stepdad, and she was the werewolf that was chasing him down. So her mom and dad live with her, and because she killed him.
Does her mom really live with her?
She's just a floating.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't consider that living. but that's
Yeah. But
So,
then they
okay.
start to hook up. How about this? So after all this crazy shit's going on, and this is like after the Molotov cocktail, they get back there, they start like hooking up. And then while they're hooking up, like kind of getting ready to take each other's clothes off, that's when Claude's gang shows up. And then that's when he sneaks out of the back window, and they see him. They're like, get him.
But he hasn't even thought about his friend who's still, the one friend that was kept trying to save him. He hasn't even thought about him. Like, how about
At this point now.
Where's Tony?
Yeah.
Like, there was not one, like with all this danger going on, wouldn't you be concerned that you haven't heard from your friend that you traveled with at all? Like, you haven't heard from him.
Yeah. No, he doesn't care at all. He's just trying to run away. And I do love Julie Bowen trying to out him. He's over here. He's over here.
That was funny.
Yeah.
So
you're probably right.
This is where her eyeball pops out, right?
That's where and you see the blood squirt out, and then she covers her mouth. Yeah, that was awesome. But I think you're right. Like, I think that's definitely true. Of you can only see your own undead, like the werewolves like the people you kill that have to float in purgatory. Because then Claude and the gang would have saw him. Like that was just like her being comical, saying he's over here.
But then why did he see his friend?
That makes no sense. Yeah.
So the rule.
The rule is there are no rules in this werewolf movie.
That's what the rule is. There's no rules. So okay. Yeah.
You know what? We wanted a werewolf movie that took place over a week, not over a few months, so you only get 3 full moons.
A week?
We had her dad. No, that's what I mean. But so just to make it go over like a week was her stepdad created like a serum that can make your body start doing the full moon change on a non-full moon day.
Okay. Based on his chalkboard or the whiteboard that he used, there was like maybe 4 big diagrams and that's it. Like his big formula was like, you would think it would be like an Albert Einstein, like, written all over the place. It wasn't. It was literally like a diagram with like 5 different, like pictures of a diagram. And the guy was able to figure, and Andy was able to figure it out.
Yeah. No, do you remember what he says?
He said, I got A in science or something?
He said, I have an A in science, but he goes, did they have any notes? And I'm like, you're going to read these notes? But the diagram you're talking about was about the full moon. It just said like quarter moon, half moon, like full moon.
But he was able to figure out the serum based on that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Looking at those notes, you
also had Claude who left a note for his party in the closet door that was closed.
Oh yeah, what is he doing? He's a bad guy who's out in outing himself to get caught.
And literally the party said 4th of July party. They were like full whatever. There was no address in that one. I'm almost 99% sure
there was
nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
What do they do? Just give the flyer? It's like, hey, it's in Paris, so walk around and find it.
But he taped it to the door, the inside of the door of the closet or whatever he went to. So everything that was probably the last place you should be, leaving it. But yeah, so.
Oh my God, man. So Andy circles back like after he gets away. The one thing, did you notice? Like it was actually really. Looked very dangerous when the henchmen are chasing him, and when all the werewolf gang are chasing Andy, and he hops over the fence, and they're following him. The fence breaks when those guys are climbing over it, and they fall really hard. Like 3 of the guys fall so hard, like you're like, wow. Like I think one of them probably got really hurt. Like it was one of those old like wooden fences, and the one guy put his arm on it, and it collapsed, and everybody else fell. They were doing it at the same time.
I didn't see that.
Like insane,
Why did they turn into wolves and chase him and get him?
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to out themselves in the middle of the day. They can use their serum, but then they'll be seen more. And they'll like raise the awareness, even though like pieces of bodies in a dungeon should raise a warning flag, but I guess not.
All right, yeah, that's true. All right, that's fine.
But so now. Let's see. Oh yeah, so the next party, you're right. So that's the next thing was that party.
Yeah.
Right after this is when that big when they go to the 4th of July party.
And this one did have a bunch of women there too. So it wasn't. This
There was
wasn't.
women, yeah.
This wasn't an old guy party. This one was a mixer.
Mhm.
So
And this one was really weird too, because this one actually had like a DJ. It was well lit. It was in a better location.
but it also like again, these are all Americans because for some reason, which did they explain why they don't kill people from Paris? Like they only kill Americans, like because every party.
I don't know why
they
they do
kept
that,
saying Americans.
Oh, we love Americans.
Yeah, but they're only inviting Americans. But you're American. You go into a party in another country. You don't know anything, a club, whatever you think it is, and then you see 4 guys walk out with hoods that look like the Emperor from Star Wars. Wouldn't you get out of there as soon as possible?
Run.
Like,
Yeah.
you think there's definitely going to be some kind of sacrifice. You see that walking out, you're like, all right, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not messing around with that. I don't think I would go to that. Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't go to
in another
anyway.
country. Yeah.
No.
These movies have ruined me, like Hostel and the movie Touristas. Like that one, I remember seeing that for the first time. I'm like, man, I'm going to lose my kidney if I go to another country. Like, I know that's going to happen now.
So that's why I won't watch those movies. Like, I've never seen Teresa. and I already told you that and Human Centipede, Hostel and Centipede are the 2 movies I will not watch for this podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know if I feel like Hostel is a traveling one, like they're overseas. I'm pretty sure
They are.
but
They are.
They definitely are. But Teresa's, it was like on an island and you saw them get their passports taken and shit. And it was like really just, I think a young Josh Duhamel is the star in that movie. But
I don't even know. I mean, so they kill the people to get their organs? That's what the Teresa is?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what Teresa is. Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. The main girl, I feel like she was in other stuff, but it was like that era of like trying to, so maybe it was like, we only want to eat Americans.
Or maybe, maybe they are known through a lot of the Paris people, French people, and they're like, you know what? They stay away from them. They know, so the only gullible ones they can get are
French
the
people
dumb
like,
Americans.
fine, whatever. Just like, don't double park. Just eat whoever you need to eat. Eat the tourists.
Just sweep up after, if you're shedding, just make sure you sweep it up. That's all. Don't leave the hair everywhere.
Yeah.
So, they can get the dumb Americans. That's how they look at it.
But it was funny. It was right after like Andy spoke and he was trying to, this isn't what you think it is. And then their guy's like, what are you doing, dude? And then that's when all the shit hit the fan. The transformation starts when they inject themselves with like the ooze, like it looked like the secret of the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like it was like that exact color.
So where are they getting that from?
They stole it from Julie Delpy's dad.
Okay.
Remember she opened that closet and it was empty?
Yeah. But okay, so what happens when it runs out? Like they know how to make it?
Well, I don't know if they know how to make it. They just stole all of it. I don't know if they used all of it, if it was low or anything.
So what's their game plan after? There's only 6.
Then at that point, they'll just have to wait for every full moon. So it's just like a way to induce it, which I don't.
Yeah, but then it seems like they're wasting it very fast. Because if they only stole that, the suitcase filled with, syringes, they're running out of it really quick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's obviously not to kill Andy. It's to feast more.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So I don't know. Again, it's so weird. It's like, are they stockpiling all this blood, like putting them into like freezer bags or
and do
like,
werewolves
what are they doing?
Just eat on humans? So that's the only food they eat is humans. Like they can't eat regular food.
In the other movies, right? In American Werewolf in London, wasn't it eating like the horses and stuff? Because remember the guys at the bar? I feel like at the pub they were talking about like, oh yeah, my horse got or my cow got eaten, or something like that.
Okay, but what if they're clearly eating a lot. How does that affect you when you turn human? Like, do you wake up with a huge belly because do you start putting on weight as a human because your werewolf you was eating a lot? Because the amount of people at these clubs are a lot. It's packed. So and I think there's only like 6 to 8 werewolves.
Yeah.
So
if that,
that's a lot. That's a lot of eating. So I wonder how it affects you. On the other side.
Oh yeah. it comes out, you like piece together the person. Bye. Yeah. But this whole, again, then they start like killing again, like you're talking about earlier. It'd be nice if we had great special effects or practical effects of like these people getting ripped apart, like in this scene. Because people did die, but again, it was only like you see like a 1-2 second, and they cut to the next one. But then this is when so that guy who just put a barricade in front of the dungeon, in this one, he gets a friggin' like John Deere tractor, blocks the door, and then Julie Delpy like
drops the statue on him.
Dude, that was
okay.
Sick.
So here's my question: the werewolves die by regular bullets?
They shouldn't, because it's silver bullets.
But
maybe they don't
they
believe
do,
in the Stephen King silver bullet.
I was gonna say, like every werewolf movie talks about a silver bullet. Everyone,
except this one.
This one, they used in the cops' guns, and they were killing the werewolves.
That's weak. They should have had the guy that we saw that in the cemetery that said, "I'm a policeman." He should have been the guy that believed in werewolves, had the silver bullets.
He should have been like the Van Helsing
have to say that
guy.
many lines. Mm-hmm.
And he could have said, "Listen, I know about the werewolves. I've been tracking them. Like this is like he should have been like a bigger part of the movie. And maybe that he could explain how we some of the rules or whatever. Like you needed an expert werewolf person in the movie. Again, like a Van Helsing who hunts vampires. He knows all about them. This is how it should have been.
And he kills him quick. Like it's not like that policeman even has a shot. It's like, okay, he's dead. Oh, and his dog.
Literally, it was like 1 or 2 shots, and the werewolves would die by a regular bullet. Like it made no sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Then we get a good werewolf fight. You get Julie Delpy versus Claude. Again, the CGI was like better. Not saying it was like for that time it was probably good. They were fighting for a while, and Andy gets a gun like we were talking about earlier, and he's a great shot. Nobody else is like
he did not miss. Like like ridiculous. And I the only thing I was a little upset about the Julie Delpy part is she was such clearly like I think they were afraid of her. Like she was kind of a powerful werewolf, and she fought like just a regular henchman. Like she needed like a bigger because she almost died by this random gang member.
Yeah.
So okay.
And then this is where she wants to die again. She says, "Please kill me with the gun."
So there's 2 parts to this, right? Like she's saying like she's in pain, which is understandable. She just got torn apart by a werewolf, but she's also said, "Eat my heart." So like does she want to die because she's in pain, or does she want to die because like, hey, I want to save you so you don't have to be a werewolf anymore, and eat my heart? Because he looked like he was close to doing it.
Yeah, I think the latter. I think she feels really guilty because remember how much she didn't like him, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's so annoying. Showing up at my house, like condoms on dates, like all of that. And then once she bit him, she was like, oh shit, I feel so bad. And again, how much power does she have when she's a werewolf?
She didn't bite him. Stuff? She didn't bite him.
She didn't bite him. But I'm saying for anywhere. I'm saying for any werewolf.
I know.
Like. Dude, like what happens when they're a werewolf? Like, would they remember? Like, would Seraphin know?
Is there a conscience in there? Right.
Yeah.
Is there a conscience in there? I think so, because she was a werewolf. She was turning into a werewolf at that party, and somehow she saved him and brought him back to the house. Right. Yeah. So it's probably like a Hulk thing, right? The Hulk doesn't remember when he's Bruce Banner, but as the Hulk, he does remember some things. Because he's able, you can reason with him a little bit, and that's probably what it is. Oh, I don't know though, because when he becomes a werewolf, you can't they look like they're ready to kill. So I don't know if there's any talking to them. Like none of them talk. It would be a little different, I think, if they were able to speak English. As the werewolf.
Yeah. That'd be weird. Like perfect like grammar. Oh, hi. I'm gonna eat you now. So when the cops show up. When he's like, when he refuses to shoot Seraphin, he runs off from the cops. They just
and
see
they're
her
shooting
like,
him.
Oh my god,
they're shooting at him.
They are,
and they miss him
a lot. And all he does is like the arm in the air, like tilt your head a little bit, and he's able to somehow dodge those terrible shots.
What is that supposed to do though? When you put your arm in the air when they're shooting at you?
I don't know. to make yourself a little thinner. Different targets.
Really?
For you
You're giving him another target to shoot your hand.
Yeah.
You know, like, is that
Yeah. Maybe you get away from your body. Hey, hit this. Not anything in
it's a distraction.
around my chest.
It's a distraction. It's okay.
But the cops come up and they're like right away, like, oh, they're consoling Julie Delpy, like, oh, is everything okay? Is everything okay?
Okay.
And then
I could be wrong, but I think one of the cops lifted the jacket up and took a peek before he helped her up. It looked like he lifted a jacket up. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like.
That's a French custom, the police.
He was checking for guns. He was checking for guns. See if she had any weapons, you know. So I could be wrong, but it literally looked like the one cop when he first got there, he lifted the jacket up a little bit, and then, you know, so, all right, go ahead.
Oh my God, dude. And then he's running away. A werewolf Claude is trying to kill him. But the fact when he like gets away and he goes through like that tunnel, falls in front of the train tracks, looks up, we see the train, and the fact that like the werewolf, maybe it doesn't have good hearing, the fact that he jumps in front of the train and gets hit.
Okay. So one, the fact that there's a slide that goes into the train station,
pretty dangerous, right?
like a regular train station where it had humans on there. So like,
yeah.
Again, like you said before, there's tunnels everywhere. Like this is at a club and a like dungeon. Why would an empty dungeon place with a bunch of like, you know, hallways be attached to a train station or train tracks, right? But two, you said like, you know, they had bad hearing, but don't dogs have very good hearing?
That's what I mean. So how do you not hear this train barreling down? But you're right. Yeah. There's so many tunnels. Like obviously that's the thing with like the catacombs and the way they used to travel. Like, you know, in France, the way they used to build the homes. But why was there?
Then why build a train there where people could literally, I mean, I don't know what kind of building the party was in. It looked like, it looked like an empty build. Like literally, it's just the one room where they have the party.
Yeah.
All the hallway. There's no other rooms and it's just hallways. Like, what kind of buildings are these in Paris?
Party dungeons. It's a party dungeon. And then the conductor, I love the conductor get off the train and he says, who I hit? Who I hit?
Oh, he's French.
Wouldn't he say like it in French? Like qu'est-ce que c'est something? Like some kind of actual French. He just says, who I hit. Then the werewolf, again, a cool looking scene. Just the idea, it's like Jason on a subway car. Like it was cool seeing that, and like the way the camera was on the outside of the train, it looked pretty neat.
It was like a video game kind of thing, you know, the side scroller. And I was surprised, like, you know, you see all the humans on the train. I thought like Andy would come there and stop them, but he actually killed a bunch of them while he was on there. Like he ate a bunch of them. So yeah, no, it was cool, but again, it's CGI. Like it just. I don't know. I feel like it just takes it away from, you know, I think anytime you do CGI like that, it almost looks, I mean, again, it takes away from the scariness of it kind of thing. I mean, and again, it's I guess it's how it's done, because obviously when you watch Alien and all this kind of stuff, it's so well done, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know why in this movie it just came across not as strong.
Yeah. And then from this, Julie's in the ambulance. She's getting treatment. And then we get Andy versus Claude. And then that's when you get the flashback. Like when he sees on its chest the cross of where he stabbed him with the fence post. So it's like, oh. And then...
But you don't see, like, the fight, though. It was human versus human fight. Like, you know, like, you didn't see, like... I wanted to see a little bit more werewolf again, like with Claude, because we didn't see Claude turn into werewolf, you know, with Andy. So, you know, I would like to see that. And then even when Andy turned, like when he went to kill Claude, all you saw was him changing, but you didn't see him change and kill him. Again, it was off screen. Like they didn't show it.
Yeah. We didn't see like a full transformation. We just got like, oh, okay, this is... But
why though? This is a rated R movie. It's a horror movie. Like why did they refuse to show anything?
Maybe the censors are like, all right, we're gonna let you eat a heart on camera. So, and we're gonna get you like a weird boob shot with Julie Delpy. Like that's all you can take. Yeah, no, they're there was an opportunity to like do over the top, and it's weird. Yeah, you're right. For an R movie, that's why you make yourself an R movie.
Correct.
If not, make this a PG-13. And what made this an R over a PG-13?
No nudity. No, like really, like there were a couple of like you see blood splattering kind of stuff, but it really wasn't crazy. And yeah, I mean, why go for the R rating and not go full force? You know, yeah.
You got to use it. There's got to be a reason for it. So why not just throw? If they're going to give you R rating, okay, we're going to add these scenes in here and add some like extra blood and stuff. But then that's it. And then we get several full moons later on the bottom of the screen. And they're getting married. They're getting married in the same spot in the Eiffel Tower in the daytime, at least.
Okay, so, no, it wasn't Eiffel Tower. It was the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh my god,
which also doesn't have security.
No security. So you just sneak right up there in the middle of the day.
Middle of the day, right? Which means it would be the busiest time. So not sure how they got up there when it was empty and so forth. But so they're still werewolves. They didn't take the cure or whatever, or they're just always going to be werewolves.
Well, no. Well, Andy's not anymore because he ate the heart.
So that she
is she still a werewolf, or was there something that Claude dying did anything? I don't know. Well, yeah, we think there's so many empty parts of this movie, like these storylines that just didn't have a final to it, and that's one of them. Like, what happened to Julie Delpy? Like, what was her connection? Why did Andy have to eat a heart and she didn't have to?
Well, and not for nothing, Julie Bowen should also like be in the scene. Like she should be in the background somewhere, like still waiting for him to die or something like that.
She should have been like, well, now she'd be fine, I think, because he ate the heart, and then his werewolf is off the earth. But no, she should have had a final scene of leaving, just like Brad did. Brad got like a goodbye scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a big miss to be able to do that. But yeah. So again, how do they forget to tie the bungee cord a second time?
And okay, I mean, not for nothing. The last time she was like in a situation like this, she was ready to kill herself. Like wouldn't you think that like this is the type of thing that maybe I shouldn't be doing? Like it just brings back bad memories of my life sucked and like I was ready to die for it and. So let's do the same exact thing that I almost died on, and like you almost died on, like I don't think you'd want to do something like that, like
why would you want to open those? Those wounds?
Why would you want to open it up? And he almost died the first time doing it, so you're gonna do it again, which clearly he almost died this time. I mean,
Oh my god! Luckily they hugged each other. They held each other tight after they caught the rain CGI.
Yeah,
and so they were fine. So after that. But just, again, the Daredevil aspect was so silly. Maybe that was a time like the X Games, Extreme Sports, something that was something they added to the script.
Yeah, but
that
I
fell
also
flat for me.
His personality, I don't buy the Daredevil thing.
That's
so
what I mean.
Yeah.
And
like I can see Tony doing it. Tony, I can see doing it. But I can't see this guy.
I can see Tony and Brad doing it. It seemed like Andy wanted to fit in with them, so that's why. Maybe he was trying to act like he wouldn't because they were like, you never hooked up with a girl. And he's like, yeah, I did like a few years ago. And it's like, all right, maybe he's like that new guy, that new buddy. And because they kind of roast him. They're like the way they're talking about him.
Right.
But so that was an American Werewolf in Paris. Jamie.
No. There's one little thing you missed. The baby. You didn't see a baby
in your off too quick?
The baby, they had a baby, and then the eyes started glowing like yellow.
What? I did not have that in my Tubi version that I watched.
Are you
really?
serious? I had it in my Tubi version. The baby had yellow eyes.
You know what's funny? There was multiple versions of this on Tubi. Because when I finished watching it, it said you might like American Werewolf. And so maybe they had like a director's cut or something. Wow. So at that scene, after they jumped off, they already had a baby?
I'm trying to think of where the baby was, but there was a baby that had yellow eyes, like the baby opened eyes, they zoomed in and it was yellow, like the wolf color.
Oh my God. No, I did not see that.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
But okay, so to answer your question, would I recommend this movie? I know what you're gonna say. I'm gonna say no. I really I don't think it's worth watching. I think the first one is a classic. And I think that you're just better off because one, it has nothing to do with the first movie. So if it had some kind of connection to the first movie, you want to watch it. But since it's like a standalone movie, it's not a good movie. The CGI is not great. I mean, outside of the couple of scenes that are okay, it's not worth watching an hour and a half movie. I think just watch the original if you've never seen it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's very rare if we went back into our, 160 plus sequels that we covered. There's probably only like 5 that I've just said like that I wouldn't watch. And I don't. Again, when I saw this when I was like 11 or 12, I don't know if I really liked it. It was just like, oh, this is like hard.
I bet you liked it
movie.
because I could see a younger person liking this because you're not going to pick it apart as much. It's like it's a cool movie and it's not violent, so you can watch. I mean, it's not gross. But I think I think it was also ranked lower than Son of the Mask.
Oh my God. IMDb. Yeah. This is really low. And I get why. There's just not much going on.
I was surprised.
Which you would think that there could be so much going on.
Correct.
And there was just never a delivery. Like we talked about this with action movies. You can give me an action movie that has okay fights and terrible story, but if the last scene kicks ass, it could save the movie for me. And this movie, again, just like any movie, can have an opportunity at that. And at the end, we get a human versus human fight. Like we don't even see like a good transformation from both, and they fight each other. No, nothing.
But see, I'm kind of the opposite with you. I don't need a story. You give me action like for 90 minutes straight of a guy going to room and just beating up everybody. I can watch that. Yeah, I don't need a story.
No, that's fine. Oh no, I don't need that either for an action movie. I'm just saying like there has to be one awesome scene.
Well, I think and this has happened to a few of the movies that we reviewed. I think what happens is they take away what you're expecting from the movie and they focus on so much of something that again, his dorkiness, his relationship with her was more of the movie than the werewolf itself. Like I said, I think I've seen him become a werewolf maybe once or twice. I don't even remember. And one wasn't even a full werewolf. So, like if you had an action movie that you're looking forward to seeing, but there's way more dialogue than action, that's kind of what I see this movie as. And it's just not enough of, to grab my attention that really let me be invested. Not to mention the characters aren't great. I mean, Julie Delpy, I know she's a big actress later on, but she's kind of dry in this movie. She's like very one-dimensional. She's very monotone. She's very, she looks good, but she's very, he's too dorky. It's just like the bad guys are. Yeah,
Julie Bowen's the best in this movie.
Yeah, I agreed. And she has the least amount of time on there. I would definitely not recommend it. And I would say, watch the original. I mean, the original is a little dated, right? I mean, it is a little dated. The movie itself, the special effects, however, I think hold up. And I think they're great.
It's John Landis.
It is
hokey. Very dry humor, but
it is violent. But there is violence to it, right? So, and there's definitely a scare factor. I mean, especially for the time that it came out. Maybe not so much now, but considering this movie was 16 years before this one, and it's got better special effects, better lighting, like just overall better. Does this tell you just something? I mean, this movie 16 years later should have blown the first one away, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, especially you think like effects wise, not even just obviously like the story, and the actors and stuff. Yeah. But no, I totally agree, and it's a shame because I was like, man, I was really looking forward to something redeeming.
That's what I was going to say. So that's what I was going to say. So before I watched it, I remember you saying like, "Oh, it's a good movie" or something like that, or like, this is gonna be fun, And so I don't think you remembered it. You probably remembered it as a child. Right. So you might have remembered some things, but again, your mind watching it as a child is different when you're watching it as an adult, right? So your memories are what were of a child watching it. And that's what you remembered. And because I could see a kid, especially back then, liking the movie. But as an adult watching it, it wasn't good.
I just love Tom Everett Scott, like around that time, like Dead Man at Campus, That Thing You Do. So I probably was just putting all those together and like, oh yeah, this one's pretty good, but no, it wasn't good. Again, I would just look online. You can watch the Julie Bowen scenes online; those are really good. And but yeah, so that was American Werewolf in Paris. Next up is we're taking something from it. The Moon, as in Full Moon, who put out a movie that one of our buddies for a long time, Matt. I don't even know his last name or anything, but he's Matthew Ring or something, Ring 72 on Twitter. He's awesome. He binge listens to us when he goes hunting. And he always said, man, you got to do a Trancers. Got to use a Trancers. Tim Thomerson or Tom Thomerson, whatever that guy's name is. And we're going to do one. Trancers 2. Before we were going to do a different film. We couldn't find it anywhere for, free to rent. So, yeah, let me look because our next guest, who's a stuntman, an actor, a producer, did some directing, Chuck Borden, has some amazing credits, amazing stories from his career. About him growing up in the Bronx, going out to California, doing like go-kart racing, having a full-time job at 18 and helping out with the mortgage. And then he just like found this thing with stunts and he fell in love with it. And then he went on to work on so many amazing movies. He was even the Michael Jackson music video doing stunts in that. But his IMDb just has just all in the same year, like Independence Day. And he had some cool stories about a stunt scene he shot there. More recently, like for his driving, he's so good at it. He was in Fast 9, Fast 10. So all different genres. He had like the low budget, the big budget. But Chuck was a lot of fun to talk to. So Trancers 2, that should be a lot of fun to talk about. Have you ever seen any Trancers, Jamie?
I've heard of them. I think there's a couple of them. I've heard of them. And I know I could for the first movie. I picture what the box cover looks like. I think I got the guy's head or something like that. But no, I've never seen them, and I have a good idea of where I'm probably going to put this on my list, if I'm going to like it or not. But it's one of those movies that it's probably be fun to do. So
Helen Hunt, Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator, Art LaFleur, Barbara Crampton's in this. Richard Lynch is in this. Richard Lynch was he was like a bad guy in a ton of 80s movies.
It's funny. Like cool. It's amazing how many like today's stars start off in horror movies. Yeah. When they're younger. I mean, this got to be one of Helen Hunt's earlier films.
That's cool that Barbara Crampton's in this movie, the woman that does not age. So that'll be good. Tim Thomerson is the guy's name. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, before that, Chuck Borden, great chat with him. He's living in the Netherlands. He talked about trying to help out, stunts over there, but they don't have any budgets. But cool story about how he ended up over there. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.